Well, I think that our judiciary has once again confirmed its reliability, and it's been exceptionally incisive in analyzing this case, and I hope that this judgment must be seen as the beginning of the process of taking South Africa right back to the constitutional route that President Mandela placed us on. And I hope that this judgment and others that will follow it will continue to correct all the abuses of the Constitution and the law by the corrupt administrations in particular, starting with the administration of former President Zuma.
And quite an indictment on him, really.
Well, look, I think the more important thing is that this judgment now shows that even if you are a head of state, you cannot abuse the Constitution without without being subjected to correction by the Constitutional Court. And that when you take an oath of office to be loyal to the Constitution, to obey it, to uphold it and maintain it, that the Constitutional Court is always there watching to see that you are living up to the dictates of your oath. And I think that the judiciary, our judiciary must be applauded for what they have done. A little important example for me is what happened to Mr. Nxasana. He worked very hard to sustain his presence in the office and to refuse to act contrary to his commitments. But unfortunately, very late in the course of his stay in office, he made a compromise and compromised himself. And when he agreed to accept President Zuma's incessant pressures on him and accepted the payment, when he did that, he compromised himself. And the Constitutional Court, in refusing that he should be reinstated, is simply saying this: no one who has violated their oath of office may be allowed to go back to office again.
But should it be the end? I mean, if you look at former President Jacob Zuma, for instance, should we just say, well, he violated his oath of office, he overreached in terms of his mandate, and it should just end there?
No, it cannot just end there. We must remember that each time we condone something that is wrong or compromise with it, we are creating precedents which will destroy many young men and women of the generations to come. Our generation, we who are here, have a duty to ensure that all of these wrong things that have been done must continue to be corrected, exposed, and where penalties must be imposed, they must be imposed, so that generations of the future must not have an excuse and say that they were taught by us that they must do things that are wrong and they can get away with it.
Thank you very much, Mosiuoa Lekota, COPE leader. He was here at the Constitutional Court in person to hear the ruling for himself, and we're still hoping to get hold of Mxolisi Nxasana because he was in court also to hear this judgment. But as you've heard, those that have spoken to say this judgment saying that it is important for the judiciary in this country as well as the criminal justice system to be independent. And so this Constitutional Court has confirmed that in fact, that is what should happen here in South Africa, but also that even though Shaun Abrahams may have been a beneficiary of what the court said was improper actions by the president, that does not leave him out, and therefore his appointment as the National Director of Public Prosecutions is also set aside. So what now remains is for the president to decide what to do. He has been given 90 days, but I'm still hoping that later on we'll come back to you and talk to Mxolisi Nxasana, who was here in court today.
Dukwan Ngatane, live for us at the Constitutional Court. Thank you very much indeed for your report and getting us a reaction there with regards to the judgment. Remember, the Constitutional Court declaring the appointment of the NPA head, Shaun Abrahams, unconstitutional and giving the president 90 days from the time this judgment has been handed down to appoint a new head.
You're watching The Agenda. Let's take a look at your weather prospects now.